All right, guys. Really, no preamble this week. We're going to go straight into spoilers. So if you have not watched episode 2 of Miss Marvel on Disney Plus, and how could you not?
Monsters.
Monsters. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Going to do a plot breakdown and then kind of give our thoughts as we go along. And I was smart this week. I took extensive notes for us.
No, that sounds painful.
All right, we start. Miss Marvel is confident now after getting her power. She's walking through her halls at school. She's correcting the teacher on how her name is pronounced. She's like
High five.
yeah, high-fiving. She runs into this new kid named, we find out his name's Kamran, and like, I think that's how they pronounce it. And in the halls, and like we can tell, like she thinks he's cute or whatever. But he'll play a big role in this episode. Anyway, we find out that Zoe from episode 1, like the popular girl, like.
Oh yeah, she's stealing the glory.
Right, she's kind of stealing the glory. Her likes on social media are going up. She's even more popular because of her run-in with the.
I didn't feel like she was stealing glory. I thought she was giving props to the hero and then just also, banking off of it, like, oh, I was the victim and she saved me. But I didn't feel like she was stealing credit or anything.
Okay, but yeah, but she was using it to her advantage, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And Zoe, like, named her Nightlight
Yeah.
as a hero name. Anyway, Zoe's having a big party at her house on Friday. I feel like this is a big trope of all these teen movies. There's got to be a house party somewhere.
Yeah.
So Zoe invites Kamran, and then like Kamala gets like a big boner for him, and she's like, "Oh, we got to go to this party now."
Yeah, that seemed kind of forced. Like, all of a sudden she's going to this girl's party because that one guy's there. Like,
she's all hot for him, and like he's surrounded by fire and 100 keep it 100 things because that's how her mind works. So then Kamala and Bruno go to the upstairs of her house, and they kind of play around with the powers and the bangle thing. Now, she kind of, in the comics, like I was saying last week, she kind of has those Reed Richards powers, where she can, like, stretch and, like, make her hand all big. So she kind of does that here. She uses the bangle, makes, like, a big fist out of it, and it just kind of, like, falls over because she can't, like, I think Bruno mentions, you don't have super strength, apparently.
Yeah.
yeah, he says that the bangle activated something in her, so I guess now the powers are emanating from her rather than the bangle.
Yeah, and I wrote that down a little later. Yeah.
The powers are hers. The bangle just
brings them out
or something.
So now she just tossed that bangle, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. That seemed like kind of a stupid thing. And also, like, okay, so he's, like, on his iPad there, and he's, like, monitoring her, and that's when he says it. Like, what kind of test is he doing on his fucking iPad that he's like, I can tell there's with the energy and blah, blah. It's, like, so nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like...
He's like NASA as a person or something.
Yeah.
I do love when you have a prop and it's just complete nonsense.
It is. It's complete bullshit. They're like, we'll have him say this, and he's a genius, and you buy it. She says that it's like an idea. He asks, like, what's it like? And she says it's like an idea coming to life. And then even a little bit later, like, they call it, like, hard light or whatever. So they really are kind of ripping off Green Lantern with this power set.
Yeah, I still get a Green Lantern vibe.
Yeah. There's, like, a little training montage with her, like, running and doing push-ups. And we see, like, she's trying to make small platforms using the bangle that she can, like, run up on, and like,
yeah, I was like, here we go, another training montage,
right? And then a few of them fail, and then eventually she gets good at it, and obligatory
training montage.
You need that. They mentioned that the writing on the bangle looks Arabic. So next, her and Nakia go to church. We see that, like, in their religion, kind of the men get special treatment. Like, they're in the front part of the church that's supposedly all nice, and they're in the back half behind a partition, and it's shittier, and the acoustics aren't good or something. And they have this whole thing where they're like, oh, we're gonna have a mosque board,
Like a mosque president, kind of.
something like that.
Yeah.
And like people can run for it or something. And she's like, I'm gonna maybe I'll run for that. I mean, I don't. Is this a thing that mosques have?
She seems so young to run for that position. You would think it'd be like an older council of people.
I would think so too. And like, and also, like, let's be honest, because she is a woman, like, I doubt she would even have a chance. I guess they haven't got that far. Maybe she does lose, like, really poorly. If she wins this, though, I'm going to be like, this seems unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to put in some legwork to like win that kind of race if you're the huge underdog in that sense.
It also felt like they were just randomly going, almost like it's something they do once a year.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something they do, supposedly do every week or.
I don't care about her side plot right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I suppose they want to show off the culture, but at the same time, it's not very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got in trouble for like talking, and I don't even remember.
And then they started talking again. I was like, "You're gonna get yelled at again. Shut up."
Yeah, you just got dressed down. They're like, yeah, we'll talk a little quieter.
Right.
So, like, before they went into church, they have to take their shoes off, so they put them in these cubby holes. And when they come back, Nakia's shoes are stolen. And she mentions that, like, there's a shoe thief on the loose, and they've stolen, like, 30 pairs of shoes. So I imagine one of these episodes is going to have her catch the shoe thief.
Well, it was. I mean, part of me was like, this chick is retarded because she's like, oh, I lost my, I don't know, high brand shoe. Was his.
Yeah, she mentioned, like,
Whatever it is.
Louis
And she's like, this has
Vuittons,
happened like 100
Versace.
times. I'm like, maybe you should stop wearing Louis Vuittons to the fucking mosque or something.
Well, I don't think it happened to her. It happened to other people. But at the same time, if she knows it's happening, yeah, why would she bring, like, her expensive shoes?
Right.
Or, you know, or it seems like they would have done something before it got that many pairs stolen. Like, maybe we'll put a security camera here or something, or have somebody watch these or something, you know. So yeah, that was kind of stupid. I wrote down she goes to the party with an Elmer Fudd hat for some reason.
That's all I remember.
She was wearing the Elmer Fudd hat with like the flaps on the side and like the flannel type of look. I was like, what the fuck?
Style.
I was thinking those like those Canadian hats, kind of, or the same thing, right?
Right. Kamran does like this big, like, fancy dive into the pool, and he gets out, and once again, just lady boners all over the place. They're really all over this Kamran, guys.
I really like the way you say lady boners.
The cops show up, and then Bruno's like, "I got a car. Everybody with me." So in the car, like, him and Kamala are in the front seat, and they're kind of like flirting back and forth about movies, and we can tell that Bruno's all jealous.
Yep. The classic love triangle.
The old love triangle.
And he's obviously like super beta, and they're almost certainly going to get together later on.
Next, she's at school, and her powers start to go kind of crazy. Like, her nose lights up, and like at least nobody notices. Like, she goes to the bathroom stall, and like her hand like gets shiny too. And then like her friend comes in there and hands her a mini dildo tampon, and she's like, "No, that's not it," or whatever. They have some conversation that I don't really remember the details of. Like, her friend was like, did her friend convert to like Islam?
No,
or
it's just that she says she looks white, so she gets like kind of both sides kind of like treat her like an outsider. Like in America, she's treated an outsider,
Oh, okay.
and then like in her own community, she's treated as an outsider. So she said she wears the hijab to like at least give herself some identity.
Oh, okay. Well, that clears that up. I was wondering about that. I wasn't, I guess, paying enough attention. Bruno goes into the office of like the principal. He's got like a free scholarship to Caltech, but he's like debating because he'd have to go to California, and he's in love with Kamala.
And there's a bunch of Californians over there.
Yeah, more drama. Oh, I forget to set this up. Earlier, like before when they were in the car, like Bruno, like trying to like get in between them, mentioned that Kamala failed her driving test. But then like Kamran was like, well, I can give you some driving lessons, So that's what happens. They go on a driving lesson, and he lets her drive. So they end up going to this restaurant, and then like conveniently, like her brother and his brother's fiance like show up.
Yeah.
And I guess this scene was kind of funny, but at the same time kind of stupid, where basically like you can tell they like each other, but they're trying to hide it from her brother. So she says that, oh, this is our cousin such and such, but like he has a British accent, so her brother's like, wait, isn't who you said you're the son of or whatever like Pakistani? Why do you speak with an accent? And like the best thing he could come up with was like he was faking the British accent.
Yeah, that was who's gonna buy that?
Couldn't he just say, oh yeah, he hooked up with a British chick or something? My mom's British. I don't know.
But that was a little foreshadowing too when she says,
Yeah, that's true. So now Kamala's back at home. She's having dinner with her parents, her brother, and her brother's fiance. And the dad tells this story about how, like, back in the day, like, I guess when the Civil War started in the partitioning between India and Pakistan, like her grandmother was a child, and like they got separated, but her grandmother ended up somehow, getting on the train, and she mentioned something about like following the light or something, and like they also asked about so her grandmother's name is Sana, and then her great grandmother's name is Aisha, and they mentioned that like Aisha like somehow mysteriously disappeared that night. So like, do you guys feel like the implication is that Aisha somehow used the powers of the bangle to guide Sana onto the train?
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it, but I wasn't completely sure if that's what we were supposed to get out of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to get out of that.
Okay, so then Kamala at the table here, she like touches the bangle, and she has like this vision of a woman who I'm assuming that is Aisha. Mm-hmm. Is that what you thought?
That's what I think, yeah.
And she like blacks out, and her parents and everybody like revive her. So then Kamala's in her room. She FaceTimes with her grandmother, Sana, and starts asking her about the bangle. And that's when Sana explains that the bangle belonged to her mother, Aisha, who disappeared or whatever. So now they're going to what they call the Eid celebration. EID, I think.
Eid.
Eid. Mm-hmm. Which, is this like big celebration in their religion, I guess. We get this thing where Nakia is trying to get her votes for the mosque board or whatever. Like she's putting up her flyers and whatnot. And like basically her, Bruno, and Kamala are gonna separate and kind of go to all these different groups of people that they explain and try to get votes. She has a scene where she kind of tries to guilt Kamala's dad into voting for her.
Yeah, like could have just left the poor guy alone. It kind of felt like he's like, my friend's running. I kind of have to vote for him, and she's like, well, I don't know, like who you like more or something. I don't know. It was some awkward scene.
So next, we find out that basically the cops that showed up at the party were actually like the Department of Damage Control and those agents who were at the basically after credit scene of the first episode. And so they got Zoe now in an interrogation room. And like they kind of start asking her about like the ethnicity of like the woman that saved her, you know? And like they start mentioning different ones. And then like the woman mentions like Southeast Asian, and like because she has like that look or something, she's like, "Oh, that's it." So then they're like, "Okay, so I want you to start canvassing every like mosque and whatever." And I'm like, that seems a little bit like
Yeah, that's a reach.
yes. Yeah.
And like also, look, I don't think white people know the difference between what a Southeast Asian person looks like, a Latino person, and a Middle Eastern person. Like those are hard for white people to like suss out.
I know, and plus like the superhero things have been
You think they should just been, let's go for round up the brownies.
Round up all the brown people,
well, and plus like the whole
Puerto Ricans. Damn it!
the whole conceit of like superhero shit is like, you're wearing a mask, even if it's a half mask or a domino mask, like it's hiding your identity. So like, we're supposed to believe Zoe like by seeing like Kamala's like mouth or whatever knows that she's Southeast Asian.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm Indian. I've been fooled by different people looking a certain way too. You know, like I don't know how they're gonna go by this account of this girl.
yeah, this whole scene was just like you said, a huge reach.
Yeah.
So like there's this group of older like Indian women at the Eid that they refer to as the Illuminantes.
Oh yeah.
And Kamala's talking to them, trying to get more information about Aisha. And they're saying like Aisha brought a bunch of shame to the family, and that she one of them's like, we heard she killed a man or something. Now, this is what baffles me, because like the one story about the train station is that she disappeared that night or whatever. So I don't understand how like she disappeared, but at the same time, like she brought shame to their family and all this. Like, did you understand it?
Yeah, they also said that she hooked up with a bunch of guys, but like how are they making this backstory if they don't know where she was and anything about where what happened to her?
I was really confused. I was like, this seems to conflict. Like, is she this mysterious woman that disappeared, or is she like this woman that like killed a guy and brought a bunch of shame to the family? Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, they did not explain this well.
And if it happened during partition, you would think it was because of violence. Like there was violence on both sides, so she was probably defending herself. Like you don't necessarily think like she just murdered a guy during partition because she felt like it or something.
Right. So you don't think like, so it seems like, do you think Sana, like her grandmother, like knows about the powers of the bangle? It seems like the conversation on the phone, like maybe she did but didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it sounded like she was hiding something.
So then there's this like little kid that goes up to the top of a tower, and like he's taking selfies like leaning out of the tower, and then he of course like starts to fall out the window and like grabs onto a curtain that's like starting to pull itself off. So he starts screaming, and like everyone gathers around, they're all worried, and so like Kamala's like, okay, this is her time to be a superhero. So she gets in the costume, she goes up there, she like starts talking to the kid and like trying to calm him down, and he says you like ice cream pizza or whatever. So like so like he's almost like falling out, which like gets her to like make the platforms and jog over to him and like kind of like save him, and he falls on the platform.
Yeah.
But then like at that time, so like everyone's cheering and like video, taking videos of her, which like goes viral or whatever. But then she has another vision. Again, we assume of Aisha, which causes her to like drop the kid, and like she really quickly like throws some platforms down. But it seems like that kid maybe got fucked up a little bit.
Yeah, it was slightly botched. Which I mean is good. It kind of breaks the like, superheroes don't usually have fuck ups.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, he didn't drop like 60 feet like he was gonna.
That's true.
He took a couple lumps, but probably is okay.
Yeah.
Now we've mentioned like a few things were a reach. This part was like such a reach. So she like goes down to like the alleyway, I guess, behind where this all happened, and she's immediately like these drones start following her, right? And like I think she takes one of them out, and the other one's chasing her, and she comes out, and like those agents from the DODC are there. And I'm like, how are these fuckers so Johnny on the spot? Like, this video just went viral, and like minutes later, they're already on her.
Yeah, is there like one mosque in all of New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're like, canvass all the mosques, there's like, oh, there's only one. And they're having this big festival. This is definitely it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were pretty spot on.
I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, and then the next thing you're about to talk about, that was even more.
Oh yeah, this is even more convenient. So it's like she jumps over like the cop car or whatever, and conveniently, Kamran pulls up in his car, and he's like, "Get in!"
Yeah.
And so like, not only is it convenient that he's right there, but then like also like they just easily get away.
Yeah.
Like no pursuit or anything from the cops. Okay, so this is the question I have. So there's a older like woman in the backseat, and Kamran's like, "This is my mom." Now, are we supposed to believe that that's Aisha?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well that gives me even more questions because number one, Aisha is her great grandmother, so she would have to be like old as shit.
Yeah.
Like if she's alive, she's like Methuselah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the other thing is number two, if this is Kamran's mom, how old was she when she had him?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
And he has been openly flirting with Kamala. If that's his mom, they're related.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This brought up so many questions.
Well, I don't know if this is like part of the show or not, but I know in Islam you can marry your cousin. So I don't know if they're going like that route here.
It's all good. It's all good.
I feel like they're the evil element, like trying to collect her.
Yeah, they should. The grandmother definitely has like this look that makes her seem evil.
So I don't know, something.
The
Yeah,
great-grandmother.
something weird. Because they haven't really introduced any other huge nemesis.
I mean, I do feel like Kamran's gonna have powers and some sort of super identity. I don't get the sense that he's gonna be a villain though. I'm not, but I'm not sure about Aisha.
Well, we'll see.
But yeah, that reveal, I was like, it just puzzled me because, like, first I'm like, okay, are we to believe she's Aisha? So, like, do you think the bangle like makes her age slower?
Yeah, maybe like once her powers activated, she ages slower. I don't know.
Because I mean, when she was talking on the phone to just her grandma looked even older than that woman,
Yeah.
right?
Her mom looks about the older than her great grandmother a little bit.
It's just, I don't know. There was a lot of confusing and convenient things in this episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did not love it.
Still in contention with Hawkeye.
Yeah, it is. Watching this show made me feel like a 13-year-old girl. This is how I felt when I watched Twilight in the theater with my sister at one time. It's meant for a younger audience.
Which is why a bunch of middle-aged men are reviewing it for your pleasure.
One unwillingly.
But I mean, like some of the other Marvel stuff, like,
Doesn't suck.
well, not only doesn't suck, but I feel like goes on that line better about like being kid friendly, but like fine for adults.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, yeah, so far, like it's totally watchable, but like I feel like it doesn't work very well for adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think kids with their whole life ahead of them, yeah, they're into it, sure. But adults were like, yeah, we don't have that wide-eyed, bright, hopeful, kind of a look at this whole thing.
With Hawkeye, like, except for before the final episode, I was like, this isn't great, but it's not like terrible. And then I just really hated that final episode.
Yeah.
With this, it's like so far, it's just off to such a bleh start. Like, I don't think it's offensively bad, but it's not like compelling either.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's more of like a introduction to like her culture than it is about the show, like, being about like, other things. Like, I get that, like, Pakistani culture is like a big part of the show and everything, but I'm not really interested in the board, election and this stuff. I think they could go away from that a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing to concentrate on.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get, like that's the thing that makes her distinct, so they want to kind of have that. But, like, just her interactions with, like, her family is more entertaining than, like, that scene.
Yeah, I'm just hoping they actually fill this out with, like, a good villain and, like, interesting kind of hero versus villain. That whole storyline. I hope they flesh it out well enough.
I know, at 6 episodes, like, are they going to be able to, like, give us a villain and make it, like, any, like, satisfying at all? Maybe just the shoe thief is the
villain. We did that story on that, like, Indonesian guy who was stealing flip-flops from everybody and jerking off to him.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he have, like, thousands of pairs?
Yeah.
He's like, I've been compulsively stealing flip-flops for ages.
I got Birkenstocks. I got this.
I got Versace. I got this.
Like a class action lawsuit where he owes everybody in the country like 32 cents.
Well, I don't want the sandals back, so I'll take the 32 cents. So what would you guys give this episode out of 10?
Oh man.
I gave the last one a 6. I think this one I would go down to like a 5.5.
Yeah, I was thinking like 4 to 5. It ended at least with something like her, great grandmother coming back and some sort of, enticing. Maybe there's gonna be something good that comes out of this. So
yeah, if she would have fucked her cousin, I would have brought it up to 7.
She wanted to.
I'm down there. I'm way down there.
To the depths.
Yeah, I'm like a 2 and just I'm bored.
Yeah, it's. I guess all we can hope for is that it picks up. So, guys, next week, episode 100. I wish we had something more special plan than just episode 3 of this show. But we'll think about it. Maybe we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's exciting that we stuck with this. We're like, I guess, close to our 2-year anniversary. And 100 episodes. That's something, man. Especially since we've mentioned that statistically most podcasts only make it to episode 8. I mean, we're killing the game.
That's right. We should have quit a long time ago, but we don't know any better.
We're going to make you hate Ms. Marvel, even if you love it. No. It'll pick up. I'm confident.